I'm Samir Awsare. I'm an internal medicine physician, and I also am one of the associate executive directors for the Permanente Medical Group. In that role, I have oversight of adult family medicine, mental health, pharmacy, and several other areas. Biologics and biosimilars are actually the same thing. They're both biologics. One of them is similar to the original reference product. They come from live cell lines. So even though they're called biosimilars, they're not exactly the same compound. But they have the same sorts of characteristics, and they have the same kinds of effects when we treat conditions. This is a really good question. It's absolutely safe for a patient to switch from a biologic to the biosimilar because their qualities are similar. They actually work for the same kind of condition, and their purity is the same, and they've actually been tested for the same kinds of conditions. We actually have studies from all over the world. We have studies from Europe where they've used the two different biologics, the biologic and the biosimilar together for the same kind of conditions, and we find that patients have the same kind of benefit, whether it's the original biologic or the biosimilar. Physicians and patients should feel pretty comfortable using them for the same kind of disease. So, I think the US biosimilar market is really at a critical junction because we have not seen the kind of uptake that we have seen in Europe. And there's actually several different reasons. The most common reason is actually patent litigation. Each of these pharma companies are suing each other. And while that whole process is being worked out in the courts, the biosimilar actually cannot be available to our patients in this country. The other thing that is happening is often there are rebates from the original biologic manufacturer to the PBM or to the insurance company. And so again, there isn't an incentive for these companies or the PBMs to then add the biosimilar. The third one is really physicians and patients not feeling familiar. So if you're the patient who's on this biologic and you're doing really well, and now the doctor is telling you, hey, how about trying this biosimilar? And you're going, why am I going to try that? Things are going really well for me. Why would I even think of switching to something different? But this was the same sort of argument that we had with brand names and generics, and we actually did not find any issues. So I think that's another hurdle that we need to get over, is to really educate our patients and our physicians. And then finally, I think we really need to talk to the payers, people who actually pay for their insurance, the government, the employers, to see that they're actually not getting value for their money. When the biosimilar is not included in the formularies, and when patients don't have access to it, not only does it not give them lower costs, but their patients are not getting better and having access. So in Kaiser Permanente, we actually have a lot of experience using biosimilars. What we really like to do is to take a look at the evidence and make sure whatever we're using is really going to give the best results to our patients. It's actually very interesting that by the year 2020, it is estimated that all of the drug spend, 50% of the drug spend, will end up being biologics, and some people are saying it might even be as high as 75%. So it's absolutely crucial that we make some changes in our laws so that we can have better uptake of biosimilars in this country. In Europe, there is actually 53 biosimilars, and what it has done is lower the costs of those drugs, sometimes even by 65%. So again, those patients are able to afford those medications, actually be able to take them and get better.